ISBN. Unforgettable Heroes of Bangladesh. 2965 published on December 6, 2014. 1. Following the address of the father of the nation Bongobondhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, innumerable people from all walks of life, farmers, laborers, students and common people joined the liberation war of Bangladesh. One by one other fearless fighter from the army, navy and air force joined the war. Their endless courage and intellectual feat begot a new flag, which is Bangladesh. The War of Liberation of 1971 is a glorious chapter to Bangladesh's history. The mass people from all walks of life participated in the War of Liberation to fight against the atrocious Pakistan Army, their local collaborators the Al-Badr, Razakars. To recognize their limitless valor as the freedom fighters, 7 martyrs of the War of Liberation has been awarded the highest appellation the Bershreshta. Bershreshta Lance Nayak Munshi Abdur Roof. Bershreshta Engine Artificer Muhammad Ruhul Amin. Bershreshta Lance Nayak Noor Muhammad Sheikh. Bershreshta Sepoy Muhammad Hamidur Rahman. Bershreshta Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir. Bershreshta Sepoy Mustafa Kamal. Bershreshta Flight Lieutenant Modiur Rahman. Bershreshta Munshi Abdur Roof. Bershreshta Munshi Abdur Roof is one of the valiant heroes in Bangladesh's history. He is generally known as Shahid, Martyr, Lance Nayak, an official position of East Pakistan Rifles, EPR, Munshi Abdur Roof. Bershreshta is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. He gave his life for independence during the Liberation War of Bangladesh in 1971 due to providing fire with automatic machine gun for Mukti Bahini and tried to restrict the Pakistan Army from using the Rangamati, Mahalchari waterway in Chittagong, near Chittagong Hill Tracts. He saved nearly 150 soldiers of the Mukti Bahini before his death. He was really a great freedom fighter for Bangladesh. Munshi Abdur Roof was born on 1st May in 1943 at Salamatpur village in Faridpur district. His father was Munshi Mihidi Hossain and mother was Mosamat Mukidunessa. He had 2 sisters, Zahora and Hazara. His father was an imam at a local mosque. Roof was quite intelligent but not an attentive student in the school. He was an indomitable and daredevil boy. Roof was a typical restless Bengali village boy. In 1955, he had to stop his education at his 8th grade due to his father's death. Roof's family faced lots of poverty after his father's death. As a result, his mother started stitching clothes and making some handicrafts to earn some money to bring up her beloved children. On 8 May 1963, Munshi Abdur Roof joined the East Pakistan Rifles, EPR. But he had to increase his age 3 years in order to get the job. Roof learned from his comrades that he used to be a disciplined and serious type of soldier, who took responsibilities with utmost sincerity and dedication. After completing the preliminary training at the EPR camp at Chwadanga, he went to West Pakistan, present Pakistan, to receive advanced training. After 6 months when he completed his advanced training, he was appointed to Comilla. On joining the EPR, he had been regularly sending major portion of the salary to his mother for maintaining the family. In 1971, Abdur Roof joined the EPR Sector 8 and on 18 April he died in the Battle of Rangamati, Mahalchari waterway in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. He was buried at Manurtur Ukazilla in Rangamati district. Battle of Rangamati, Mahalchari. After the night of 25 March in 1971, Munshi Abdur Roof joined the EPR Sector 8 with a group of soldiers. He was serving as a soldier in this company. East Bengal Regiment wanted to restrict the Pakistan Army from using the Rangamati-Mahalchari waterway. They camped at both of the Chingri lakes at Barigat. East Bengal Regiment constructed a camp at both sides on the Rangamati-Mahalchari waterway. These camps were established to monitor the Pakistani squads. EPR wanted to attack Pakistani squads after a few days. But suddenly on 18 April 1971, Pakistani squads identified the defensive position of Mukti Bahini at Rangamati, Mahalchari waterway. They attacked with 7 speedboats and 2 launches at the defense position of Mukti Bahini. Their mission was to drive the Mukti Bahini away from the waterway of Rangamati and Mahalchari. Munshi Abdur Roof's company also started returning fire. Pakistani forces managed to disorient Mukti Bahini by coming closer to them and firing heavily. They surrounded the freedom fighters and managed to isolate nearly 100 of them. Munshi Abdur Roof realized the threat to his company and he crawled forward to his trench and continuously fired towards the enemies with his automatic machine gun. As a result of Roof's fire, Pakistanis dragged their launches back to a safer place and resumed their firing from there. Then Pakistani squad brought massive mortar fire, which created panic and shock among the protective Mukti Bahini squads. Due to shock and fear, most of the teammates of Munshi Abdur Roof jumped into the water. But only Bir Sreshto Munshi Abdur Roof stood audaciously with automatic machine gun to stop the enemy advance. Company commander Captain Khalikazaman could foresee that he would suffer heavy casualties if he did not withdraw at this stage. But the brave and courageous soldier Munshi Abdur Roof told the company commander, "Sir, I will keep the enemy busy with covering fire, you should move behind with the company." Then suddenly Bir Sreshto Roof's bunker was exposed to the enemy and a mortar directly hit Munshi Abdur Roof. He breathed his last with holding his automatic machine gun. Munshi Abdur Roof's act saved nearly 150 soldiers of the Mukti Bahini. After the independence of Bangladesh in recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation, he was honored with the highest state insignia of Bir Sreshto. Bir Sreshto Muhammad Ruhul Amin. Bir Sreshto Muhammad Ruhul Amin is a great freedom fighter in the Bangladesh's history. He is generally known as Shahid, Martyr, Engine Room Artificer, and official post of Bangladesh Navy, Muhammad Ruhul Amin. Bir Sreshto is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. He was killed in the Bangladesh Liberation War due to mistaken fire from the Indian Air Forces. After mistaking fire of the Indian Air Forces, he had caught by the Pakistani Razakars who killed him using their bayonets. He was really a great freedom fighter in the Liberation War. Muhammad Ruhul Amin was born in 1st February 1934 at Bagpankra village under Sanamiri Upazila of Noakhali district. His father was Muhammad Azhar Pakwari and mother was Zulekha Khatun. He was the eldest son of the family. From his boyhood he was very obedient, courageous, dutiful and sincere. He had also a great thirst for education and knowledge. As a result, he took up a job in a newspaper, but he did not stay there long time due to his inquisitive mind. Muhammad Ruhul Amin finished his primary education from local schools and in 1949, he passed his matriculation examination. In 1951, Muhammad Ruhul Amin joined the then Pakistan Navy as a sailor. He went to Karsaz Naval Base in Karachi for training and there he received initial and technical training. After completion of necessary training he was promoted to the rank of ARTIFICIER1 in 1965 and in 1968 he was appointed to PNS Bakhtiar at Chittagong and was serving there till Liberation War broke out. When the Liberation War broke out, Muhammad Ruhul Amin was acting as engine room ARTIFICIER1 in the gunboat PNS Komila under Bakhtiar Naval Base at Chittagong. After the dark night of March 25, he left his duty and returned to his village home. There he organized the students and youths of the village for the Liberation War. In May, Ruhul Amin along with nearly 500 trained soldiers joined at Sector 3 in Agartala under the ex-Chief of Army Staff Major General Chapula. In 28 September 1971, Bangladesh Navy raised with two warships, Padma and Kailash. At that time no Bengali officers were available and as a result 2 Indian naval officers were in charge of these two warships. Muhammad Ruhul Amin being a sailor joined in the Navy and was posted to Kailash. On 10 December 1971, Kailash and Padma reached at Mungla. This time their mission was to capture Pakistani squads at Mungla Fort. Earlier that day, Indian Air Force fired at different places of Khulna city. When the convoy reached nearer to Mungla Fort, 4 Indian aircrafts flew over the convoy. But surprisingly after a few minutes those aircrafts first bombed Padma and then onto Kailash. The ships were on fire. The ship magazine of Kailash started exploding putting the safety of the ship in jeopardy. On such dangerous situation maximum crews of Kailash abandoned the ship, but Ruhul Amin did not leave the ship. He said to other crews, if we cannot keep the ship floating Bangladesh Navy will not survive, the infant Navy would die forever. So he kept on trying to extinguish the fire. The crews requested him to leave the ship but he did not. After the heavy bombing, the engine room got burned and the Kailash shrunk on the river and Ruhul Amin dived into the water. When he reached the river shore, he got caught by the Razakars and they killed Muhammad Ruhul Amin using their bayonets. He died on 10 December 1971 in Khulna. After the independence of Bangladesh and recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation he was honored with the highest state insignia of Bir Sreshto. Bir Sreshto Nur Muhammad Sheikh. Fierce Reshto Nur Muhammad Sheikh is one of the brave heroes in Bangladesh's history, and he is generally known as Shahid, Martyr, Lance Nayak, an official position of East Pakistan Rifles, EPR, Nur Muhammad Sheikh. Fierce Reshto is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. He was killed in the Liberation War of Bangladesh in 1971 due to providing fire with covering the extrication of fellow soldiers at Golhati and Jessore district. He tried to save his teammates and finally he did it, but he sacrificed his life for his country. The Mukti Bahini saved their lives due in large part to Nur Muhammad Sheikh's efforts. Nur Muhammad Sheikh was born on 26 February 1936 in Moheshkali village at Narail. His father was Muhammad Aminan Sheikh and mother was Mosamat Jinatunessa Khanum. He lost his parents at an early age. An orphan in childhood, he had to sell his paternal landed property for his livelihood. He continued his study up to 7th grade at local schools. After that, Nur Muhammad Sheikh joined the local Ansar force. And then he joined the East Pakistan Rifles, EPR. He was appointed at the Dinajpur sector after completion of training. Later on 1st July in 1970, he was transferred to Jessore sector. Nur Muhammad Sheikh participated in the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. In the March 1971, he was staying at his village in a vacation. After the night of March 25, when the Liberation War started, he joined Sector 8 and continued to take part at different battles at Jessore. He was then in charge of a regular patrol force. Due to his good performance, Lance Nayak Nur Muhammad was selected as the captain of the standing patrol team at Golhati. This standing patrol team was created to monitor the Pakistani army. He died on 5 September 1971 in the Battle of Golhati at Jessore. Battle of Golhati, Jessore. For strategic importance, the freedom fighters monitored the Pakistani squad. They wanted to capture the Pakistani army after a few days. But on September 5 in 1971, suddenly the Pakistani army managed to point out the position of Nur Muhammad's squad, and that time Nur Muhammad was patrolling with only 4 fellow soldiers. After managing to point out of the Nur Muhammad squad's position, the Pakistani army attacked them from 3 different sides. Nur Muhammad Sheikh wanted to retreat to his base, so he continued to fire towards the Pakistani enemies. That time, one of his fellow soldier was shot by the bullet and Nur Muhammad started carrying him towards safety. Then Nur Muhammad was also hit by a mortar. Though he was seriously injured, Nur Muhammad decided to continue to provide covering fire for his team. When Nur Muhammad was seriously bleeding, his fellow Sipahi, an official position of Bangladesh Army, Mustafa, urged Nur Muhammad to go with him. Mustafa even forced Nur Muhammad to go with him, but Nur Muhammad refused to go but gave his light machine gun to Mustafa so that it would not be captured after his death. He kept his self-loaded rifle with him and kept on fighting until he died. He was buried in Jessore. After the independence of Bangladesh in recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation, he was honored with the highest state insignia of Fierce Reshto. Fierce Reshto Hamidur Rahman. Fierce Reshto Hamidur Rahman is one of the great heroes of Bangladesh, and he is generally known as Shahid, Martyr, Sipahi, an official position of Bangladesh Army, Hamidur Rahman. Fierce Reshto is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. He scarified his life during the Liberation War of Bangladesh in 1971 because he was an excellent freedom fighter. The advancing Mukti Bahini column finally captured the Dalai border outpost in Sylhet due in large part to his efforts. He saved his teammates and the whole country by sacrificing his life. Hamidur Rahman was born on 2 February 1953 in Kardo Kalachpur village under the Janata district. He was the eldest son of his family. In 1947, during the partition of India, his family lost all of their properties and they settled in the bordering area of Korda Kalachpur of Janata district. He had his primary education at Kalachpur Primary School and subsequently at a local night school. When he passed in the primary school, he joined East Bengal Regiment on 2 February 1971. He was posted at EVR Center in Chittagong Cantonment. Hamidur Rahman participated in the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. On March 25, Hamidur Rahman left the cantonment for his village home, and then he joined the Mukti Bahini Liberation Force. He also made a significant contribution during the war in the Battle of Dalai border outpost at Trimangle in Sylhet district. Mukti Bahini captured their enemies for Hamidur Rahman's significant contribution. Rahman also sacrificed his life in the Battle of Dalai border outpost. Rahman was buried in Tripura in India, but later on October 27, 2007, advisors of the Bangladeshi caretaker government decided to bring back his remains dead body to Bangladesh and bury him beside Birsristho Matoor Rahman. 10 December 2007, the remains dead body of Rahman was brought back to Bangladesh, and on 11 December 2007 he was buried again at Buddhijeebi Koborsthan Cemetery, Dhaka. Battle of Dalai border outpost, Sylhet. For its strategic importance, the freedom fighters took a bid for capturing the Dalai border outpost of the Pakistani army. Though the Mukti Bahini, independence fighters, came very close to the border outpost, but it was very difficult to capture owing to the enemy machine gun which was continuously firing from the southwestern corner of the Dalai border outpost. The C Company of the 1st East Bengal Regiment was entrusted with the task with which Rahman was enrolled. On the night of October 28, 1971, 3 platoons of freedom fighters with 125 members silently advanced towards the outpost. They decided to use grenades on the machine gun posts of the Pakistani army. The platoons, while approaching near to the enemy post and were on the verge of attempting a surprise, a sudden explosion of a mine alarmed the enemies, who started indiscriminate firing. A battle continued for hours, but the advance of the freedom fighters was seriously obstructed by enemy firing with LMG from southwest direction. At this critical situation, Rahman took the responsibility of throwing grenades, and crawled through the hilly canals. He was succeeded in the darkness, silently proceeded by crawling towards the LMG post, attacked and killed the 2 LMG operators, thereby silencing the enemy guns. When some bullet was shot into Rahman's leg and chest, he jumped into the enemy machine gun post and engaged in hand-to-hand fighting with the 2 crews, who were guarding the gun, and at one point neutralized the gun. When the EBR, realizing the fact that the machine gun outpost was damaged, they approached towards the enemy, captured their first line within a short period of time. After the capture of the Dalai border outpost, members of the EBR found the dead body of Rahman. Sipahi Rahman's efforts helped the East Bengal Regiment take the outpost. After the independence of Bangladesh and recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation, he was honored with the highest state insignia of Birsristho Mohiyuddin Jahangir. Birsristho Mohiyuddin Jahangir is one of the valiant freedom fighters in the Bangladesh's history, who dedicated his life for the freedom of Bangladesh and made a great contribution in the Bangladesh's liberation war. He is generally known as Shahid, martyr, captain, and official post of Bangladesh Army, Mohiyuddin Jahangir. Birsristho is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. He was killed due to an attempt to break the enemy defense on the bank of the Mahananda River near Nawabganj district. The advancing Mukti Bahini won that mission due to Captain Mohiyuddin Jahangir's great contribution, and they reached very closer to independence. Mohiyuddin Jahangir was born on 8 March 1949 in Rahimganj village under Babuganj Thana in the district of Barisal. He was the eldest son of Abdul Muttalib Haladar. His father was an influential personality in that area, and his grandfather Abdul Rahim Haladar was a jamindar, who contributed a lot for the improvement of that area. For this reason, people honored him by keeping the name of the village after his name is Rahimganj. Mohiyuddin Jahangir was brought up well under the care of his parents. His father thought that there was no any good educational institution. So, his father wanted to send him to the house of Jahangir's maternal uncle. When Jahangir was 4 years and 6 months old, he was sent to the house of his maternal uncle, Mr. Fazlur Rahman, who was an engineer working in Muladi Thana. There he completed his primary education at a local primary school. In 1959, Mohiyuddin achieved scholarship in Talent School in his 5th grade, and in 1962, he achieved scholarship in Talent School in his 8th grade. In 1964, he passed his SSC examination from Muladi Mabujan High School in 2nd Division from Science Group, obtaining letter marks in mathematics. After completing SSC, he took admission in Barisal BM College, and there he became well known in his college as a good sportsman. In 1966, he passed his HSC from the Barisal BM College in 2nd Division from Science Group, obtaining letter marks in mathematics. Mohiyuddin had been cherishing a dream to be an engineer from his childhood, but unfortunately due to financial problems he could not take admission in engineering course. In 1967, he got admitted at the Department of Statistics at the University of Dhaka. After a few months, Mohiyuddin decided to join the Pakistan Army. As a result, he joined the armed forces as a cadet at the Pakistan Military Academy on 5 October 1967. Mohiuddin Jahangir successfully completed his training with the 15th War Course and he was commissioned in the Corps of Engineers. After a few months, he was posted at 173 Engineers Battalion in Multan. He showed brilliant performance in Basic Course 29 in the School of Military Engineering located in Risalpur. After finishing the 13-month-long training, he took the bomb disposal training in the same institution. In 1971, Mohiuddin Jahangir was working at the construction field at Karakoram in Pakistan. He was not in peace after the night of March 25. He could not stand still in Pakistan due to the highest sense of patriotism. As a result, he decided to join the Bangladesh's liberation war. He had been planning secretly with some other Bengali young officers to find out the way to escape from Pakistan. He took a few days leave and went back to Risalpur on 10 June. One day later, Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir and 3 other Bengali officers, Captain Shahryar, Captain Salahuddin and Captain Anam, managed to escape from Pakistan through Sialkot border and joined the Mukti Bahini at Medaipur under Malda district in West Bengal, present Bangladesh. When they escaped from Pakistan and reached in India, General M.A.G. Osmani, the great leader of Bangladesh Liberation War, went to Calcutta just to welcome these heroes personally. Mohiuddin Jahangir became a captain of the Sector 7 on 3 July. He was given the responsibility to fight at the Chapanawabganj district at Rajshahi Division. Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir died on 14 December 1971, 2 days prior to the Victory Day, in the Battle of Chapanawabganj. Battle of Chapanawabganj. Battle of Chapanawabganj was one of the most daring operations undertaken by the freedom fighters. In December, Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir was again given the same duty of conquering Chapanawabganj. On 10 December, he set his camp with 2 officers and near about 50 freedom fighters at a place called Bargoria at the west of Chapanawabganj. On 13 December, Mohiuddin Jahangir divided his army into 3 groups in order to attack on different enemy camps at Chapanawabganj and Rajshahi. Major Gias led the first group. He was tasked to give blocking position at Chapanawabganj-Rajshahi Road to cut the communication of Chapanawabganj from Rajshahi. Major Rashid led the second group. He was tasked to act as cut-off party. The third group was the most important group and was led by Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir. He was tasked to capture Chapanawabganj. It was planned that the Indian artillery will provide fire support and Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir with his group would go for assault. But on 13 December 1971, on predetermined time there was no artillery shelling onto the enemy position. Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir tried his level best to make communication over wireless set with Indian force. Mohiuddin Jahangir was not the man to fall back. He decided that he would go for attack without Indian artillery fire support. On 14 December 1971, Mohiuddin Jahangir crossed the river by 3 to 4 country boats through Rihai Char. After crossing the river he made an assault from the north. Taking one by one enemy trench he advanced towards south. He intended to destroy one of the light machine gun bunkers of the Pakistan Army and crawled towards it. He managed to come closer to the bunker and charged grenades it. But suddenly, Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir was fired from another bunker and he died on the spot. His dead body fell to the enemy's trench. Other comrades of Shahid Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir crossed the river by swimming and gave the message of his death. The death of Shahid Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir made the freedom fighters more aggressive. As a result, a new attack was launched with more freedom fighters and they successfully captured the enemy and took control of the Chapanawabganj. The dead body of Captain Mohiuddin Jahangir was carried by the freedom fighters from the Char area and was laid to rest at the premises of the famous Chodo Shona Mosque where most of his activities had taken place during the war. After the independence of Bangladesh and recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation he was honored with the highest state insignia of Bir Sreshto. The main gate of the Dhaka cantonment, Shahid Jahangir Gate, is named in his honor. Bir Sreshto Mostofa Kamal. Bir Sreshto Mostofa Kamal is another great hero of Bangladesh and he is generally known as Shahid, Martyr, Sipahi, an official position of Bangladesh Army, Mostofa Kamal. Bir Sreshto is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. Mostofa Kamal scarified his life during the Liberation War of Bangladesh in 1971 and showed his unbelievable performance. Mustafa Kamal was killed in a defensive battle against the occupying Pakistan army in Darwin village of Comilla. His actions inflicted heavy casualties on his enemy squads. He saved his teammates and the whole Bangladesh by sacrificing his life. Shipahi Mustafa Kamal was born in Pashim Hajipur village under Daulat Khana Upazila in Bola district in 1947. His father M.D. Habibur Rahman was a Havildar, a lower official position of Pakistani army, who serving the army, in the Pakistani army. The birth of Mustafa Kamal brought happiness to his parents who were determined to bring him up with extra care. Mustafa Kamal passed his childhood with his parents in the cantonment where he had the scope of witnessing the disciplined life of soldiers. As the days passed by, he was fascinated by the military profession and started nurturing the dream of becoming a soldier. But his father was reluctant to allow him to join the army. Mustafa Kamal escaped from his house without informing anyone due to his parents' decision, and he joined the East Bengal Regiment on 16 December 1967. Mustafa Kamal was also a well-known boxer. It may be noted that the East Bengal Regimental Center boxing ring was named after this great hero to recognize his excellence in the field of boxing, which no doubt inspires today's young soldiers. After the training, Mustafa Kamal was posted to 4th East Bengal Regiment, which was located at Comilla Cantonment during the mid-March in 1971. He displayed some extraordinary qualities, and as a result, he became one of the best soldiers of the unit in a very short time. He died on 18 April 1971 and buried in Darwin, Comilla, near Apora. Battle of Gangasagar, Brahmanbaria. Gangasagar is located at Kasbah Thana of Brahmanbaria near Apora. This battle will be remembered for a long time due to supreme sacrifice of Mustafa Kamal. After the incidents of 25 March, 4th Regiment successfully brought Brahmanbaria under control. In April 1971, 4th East Bengal took up defensive position at Apora along the river Titas after fighting a series of smaller engagements. Pakistani squads led by 12th Frontier Force, FF, which was advancing from Comilla, succeeded in capturing Saidabad. The enemy then advanced further along the railway line and contacted the defense at Gangasagar. Shipahi Mustafa Kamal was a member of the No. 2 Platoon of A Company. On 13 April 1971, the Pakistani forces reached Gangasagar and they attacked Apora from Brahmanbaria, but their advance was effectively stopped on the southern side of Haranadi by the platoon of Shipahi M.D. Mustafa Kamal. Then Pakistani squads immediately launched a quick operation on own defensive position at Darwin supported by heavy artillery fire, but own squads repulsed their attack, firmly causing the death of 3 Pakistani officers and about 75 to 80 soldiers. A fresh battalion was inducted by the Pakistani brigade commander and was ordered to clear village Darwin within next 2 days. Battle of Darwin, Comilla. The 4th Regiment set their camp in Gangashagar and Kalshahar. To avoid any unexpected attack from the Pakistani army, 2nd Platoon of the company, Alpha, was sent to Darwin village. Mustafa Kamal was one of the section commanders of 2nd Platoon. Pakistan army started to approach towards the regiment camp on 16 April 1971. They were coming over the railway of the Comilla-Apora route. The 4th Regiment also reconciled their position at Darwin. They settled on their trenches near a pond. Mustafa Kamal took the rightmost position. On 17 April 1971, No. 11 Platoon of Delta Company under Havildar Munir Ahmed was sent to strengthen the defense at Darwin. But Pakistani army opened fire at about 11:00 hours on 18 April 1971. At around 12 p.m. the Pakistani army attacked Mukti Bahini from west. Another part of the Pakistani army attacked from behind. As a result, the 4th Regiment had decided to retreat from Darwin. Mustafa Kamal took the responsibility to cover for his fellow fighters. Most of the fighters retreated to a safer position as Kamal relentlessly kept firing with his LMG. He managed to neutralize 8 to 10 Pakistani soldiers. Pakistani progressed slowly due to the continued fire from the LMG of Shipahi Mustafa Kamal. The last 2 soldiers who had been fighting alongside Shipahi Mustafa started withdrawing and requested Mustafa repeatedly to fall back. But Mustafa refused to leave his friend. He was well aware that the safe extrication of his comrades largely depended on his continued supporting fire. Pakistanis eventually closed within 50 meters of his trench and encircled him. Pakistani army asked him to surrender. Mustafa, meanwhile, finished all his ammunition. At this critical situation of his life, Mostofa showed unbelievable courage and decided not to surrender. He utilized both the grenades as the enemy reached within grenade firing distance. He then jumped out of his trench and charged on the enemy with the empty LMG, shouting, "Joy Bangla." In the process, he received a heavy volume of fire. He, along with 20 to 40 other soldiers, died at this battle. After the independence of Bangladesh in recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation, he was honored with the highest state insignia of Bir Shrestho. Bir Shrestho Mataur Rahman. Bir Shrestho Mataur Rahman is one of the brave heroes in the Bangladesh's liberation war, and he is generally known as Shahid, Martyr, Flight Lieutenant, an official post of West Pakistan Air Force, Mataur Rahman. Bir Shrestho is the highest recognition of bravery of Bangladesh. He dedicated his life for the freedom of Bangladesh and made a great contribution in the Bangladesh's history. He attempted to hijack T-33 aircraft, codenamed Blue Bird, in order to defect from the Pakistan Air Force, but he did not succeed in that operation, and as a result, he was killed by a Pakistani member. Mataur Rahman was born on 21 February 1945 or 29 November 1942 in Ramnagar under Roypura Thana near Dhaka. His family was a solvent and middle-class educated family. Mataur Rahman was very good in sport and other co-curricular activities. He developed a very good team spirit and comradeship from the very school life. He completed his primary education at Dhaka Collegiate School. After he was admitted into PAF Public School, Sargodha in West Pakistan, and there he completed his 12th class course. In 1963, when he completed his 12th class course, he joined in the Pakistan Air Force Academy. On 22 June, Mataur Rahman was commissioned as a pilot officier and was posted at Risalpur in West Pakistan. After he successfully completed the jet conversion course in Karachi, he was appointed as a jet pilot in Peshawar due to his bright result in the jet conversion course. Bir Shrestho Flight Lieutenant Mataur Rahman was a well-known person about Bangladesh Liberation War. He realized that West Pakistani's torture is unbearable. As a result, he could not stand still due to his patriotic and dedicated soul. It was impossible for Mataur Rahman to bombing on the soil of his motherland by the Pakistani aircraft as a pilot. But it was also impossible for Mataur Rahman to join the Liberation War at that time due to the obstruction from his family. He was fully aware that he might die in the fate of his wife and children. But his limitless courage, unbelievable brave, a deep sense of patriotism and dedication could not stop him. On 20 August 1971, Flight Lieutenant Mataur Rahman decided to execute his secret mission. His mission was to hijack a T-33 aircraft, codenamed Blue Bird, from Karachi in Pakistan to India in order to defect from the Pakistan Air Force and join the Liberation War of Bangladesh. At 1,100 hours on that day, Mataur Rahman attempted to hijack T-33 aircraft from Mashrur Airport of Karachi. Pilot Officer Manoj approached to the runway leading to the taxi track number 4 and reached behind a hillock due to receive the clearance from the control tower. At that moment, Flight Lieutenant Mataur Rahman drove his jeep with speed and stopped T-33 under the cover of his appointment. As soon as the pilot officer Manoj opened the canopy, Flight Lieutenant Mataur jumped on the cockpit before anyone could understand anything. The Blue Bird went in the sky. The imbalanced movement of the aircraft indicated that there was fight between pilot officer Manoj and Flight Lieutenant Mataur for the control of the aircraft. No radar could ever detect T-33 aircraft due to Mataur Rahman's excellent professional skill. T-33 flew away in a very low level. Mataur Rahman planned to take the aircraft to Jamnagar airfield of Burad. But unfortunately the T-33 could not reach Burad as it was destroyed near Thatta, 40 kilometers near the Indian border, due to the struggle to regain control of the aircraft. The great hero, Mataur Rahman's body was found near the crash site. He was buried at the military graveyard for 4th class employees at Masrur Air Base of Karachi without any Muslim religious formalities. Janaza. Mataur Rahman's wife Miley and his 2 infant daughters were imprisoned for a month by Pakistan Air Force, and they were released on 29 September in 1971. After the independence of Bangladesh in recognition of his sacrifice in the War of Liberation, he was honored with the highest state insignia of Bir Shrestho. The Bangladesh Air Force's air base at Jessore is also named in his honor. On 24 June 2006, Bir Shrestho Mataur Rahman's body was finally returned to Bangladesh after over 30 years of negotiations for a ceremonial and highly symbolic reburial. He was buried at the Martyred Intellectuals Graveyard, in Mirpur, Dhaka with full military honors.